Boop. Hello, everyone. This is Mikhail Zavala, aka MZ4250 on Twitter, Reddit, Patreon, Twitch, everywhere. And on this tutorial, I'm going to go over some rigging techniques as well as some basic modeling techniques. The creature that I will be creating will be Tekuzateketl, which is the Lord of Slugs from the book Tales from the Yawning Portal. It is a D&D book, which is Wizards of the Coast intellectual property. Please do not try to sell any of this stuff. I'm only trying to make it for fan art. Anyway, so first things first, the program that you'll be using is going to be Blender. And Blender is a free program that you can get on blender.com. Just Google Blender and you'll find it. And then to prep it for printing, I'll be using one of the 3D printing programs known as Cura. I have a 3D print going on in the background, by the way, so I think it's already buzzing sounds. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So, first things first, I got the lovely 3D window where I will start modeling. You use your middle mouse button to scroll in and out, and you hold it down to move around. You hold the shift key and the middle mouse button to pan left and right, and then I'll describe the buttons as we go. Anyway, so first things first, making a slug. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the basic shape of the body. Now I'm gonna start with a cube, which is the traditional 3D object that you create pretty much everything out of. You could also go with a cylinder for this case, but I wanted to stick to something a little simpler. Anyway, as you can see with the directional controls, um, you can use this to move things to and fro, and you can use this to rotate, and you can use this control to scale. You can also press the S key to scale, or press the R key to rotate based off of your vision, etc., etc., and the G key to move things around with your own little point of view. Alright, so that's the basic stuff. Now, let's go ahead and get into some modeling. So, tab to go into the edit mode, and then I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to go and subdivide this entire cube. Then I'm going to go into x-ray mode by pressing Z, and then I'm going to go over here and delete half of the faces. By the way, I am enjoying a lovely summer cocktail known as a Curacao cooler. It's delicious. Anyway, so let me go ahead and now add a modifier to this thing. It is a mirror modifier. And then you can see that everything that I do on this side of the model is going to be altered on the other side. So it saves me a lot of time. Alright, so let's, but before I do that, let me make sure that I have the most basic shape ready for this thing. So let me just go back a little bit, and let me just get some basics down. So, first things first, I'm going to go ahead and squeeze all sides of this thing down equally to basically make a kind of like a quasi spear, but it's going to be a spear that has, certain edges that are just easier to manipulate. And then I do the opposite on, oops, looks like I missed a couple. Sorry about that. Okay, so squeeze that down there. Then do the opposite and freaking grab these over here. And like I said, I'm making basically a quasi-sphere. Nothing too crazy, nothing too super accurate, just, just making this just for the sake of making it. Let me get rid of that. Anyway, so that's basically that. Alright, so now that we got that done. So a slug, as you know, has a rather flat body at the bottom, so we're going to go ahead and flatten this out first and foremost. So I'll just do that real fast and make it zeroed out. I'm also going to make it a little bit wider at the bottom, right? Oop, sorry. Sorry about that. And right there like that. And then I'm going to add some geometry right here, like so. That's going to be for later. Anyway, okay, I think that's all I needed to start this bad boy. Let me go ahead and start modeling a little more. So let me go ahead and extrude. I press the E key to extrude. Shrink it down with the S key right there. Do the same thing over here. It's going to be the head, and this is going to be the body itself. Slug is not exactly the most exciting model I've created, I'm not going to lie, but it's part of the creature that I was creating, so, you know, it's only fair. Or part of the book that I'm modeling, so it should be fine. Anyway, let me just go ahead and increase that right there. So I'm pressing the S key to alter that part of the body. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I press the Alt key to select this entire row of line. And then I go ahead and I just scale it out with the S key. And let me just do that one more time. Right over here. Extrude and scroll down. Extrude one more time. And press the S key. So far, so good. Let me go ahead and add a little more geometry to this guy. So S key to scale it down just a little. Go to the loop and cut sting to go ahead and add a little more geometry. Select that, a little more geometry. Select that, just a little more geometry. Sounds like I'm making a song. Alright, so far so good. Let's see here. Hello viewers. Hope you guys enjoy my little modeling. Alright, so now to go here to here, I held the control key and I just click. Then I press the shift key to hold that, and then control and click, just like that. And then I go ahead and I flatten again. Just flatten just like that. There we go. Alrighty. Almost. Let's keep going. So let me go ahead and make the head of the slug, like so. I see somebody say uptime. Okay, I don't know what that means, but if I'm missing some sort of a reference, I'm more than willing to learn. Anyway, so continue freaking just modeling this thing. And then we go ahead and that's that. Alright, now let's go ahead and get into the mirroring stuff so I can start working on his head a little more. Let's see here. I see here. So one of our guests says, uptime is how long your stream has been online for. Oh, how long my stream has been online for? Well, today it's been 10 minutes. In total, I've been streaming for about maybe, I don't know, 4 months or so. I hope that answers your question. But yeah, this started about 10 minutes ago, roughly. Anyway, all right, so let's go ahead and add just one final minute point of detail. Just gonna add a little more there. And then I'm going to bring this and I'm going to bring it in just a little bit. Like so. Alright, now let me start working on some more details. Alright, so go into X-ray mode and go ahead and select half of this thing's geometry, like so. And looks like I messed up a little. So I can select all of it like that and then deselect with control as well. Looks like I got all of it. Okay. Now let me go ahead and press delete, delete faces, and then go to mirror, and there you go. And then if it works right, I should be able to, yep, cool. Alrighty, now let's go ahead and start adding some more details to this little slug guy. So slugs have 4 little antennae at the front of their bodies. So I'm going to go ahead and start modeling that. First, let me add a little more geometry to this guy. I'm going to go ahead and do that to just add a little more, you know, just make it look a little more organic. Now do the same here. Okay, just like so. Alrighty, and then go ahead and do that, like that. And then go over here and do the same. Okay. And then the bottom of the slug, as you know, it has like a little bit of a divot going on down here. So I'm going to go ahead and just insert that real fast too. Let me just do this to add a little more of equation to it. Oh, also, while I'm here, I'm going to add another modifier in subdivision surface. This will make it look like, you know, like a more smooth object. So let me go into object mode. As you can see, it's already starting to look somewhat organic. I'm putting smooth, and then, we're getting somewhere now. Oh, I got a message here. It says, "Hey man, just wanted to drop by and say thank you for all your work for the community." Hey guy, I'm here for you guys because you guys are awesome. I love D&D. I love 3D. Combining it all into one thing, bam, winning. So you guys are awesome, and I love the D&D community, and I hope that I can continue to give back in some way. But yeah, I thank you for that. I appreciate it. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue altering the geometry of this guy. I'm adding that like meaty portion at the bottom of the slug's body. So it should look interesting, to say the least. Okay, so far so good. Oh, I got another message. Do you have anything printing on your printer right now? I am printing off a Pokeball. Ooh, a Pokeball. Very cool. But yeah, to the messenger, CCJJSS2424. I'm just going to call you CC. But yeah, I actually have a print going on right now. It's, what am I printing? Shoot, I already forgot. I am printing right now. I gotta look at the book because I'm going alphabetically. Oh, that's right. I'm printing a giant ice toad right now, so it should be pretty cool. Anyway, so back to the model. All right, so I got the ugly, gross little divot portion at the bottom. I'm gonna add more detail to that later. Let me go ahead and add the 4 antennae to the top of his little head. So, to pull off basically a impromptu appendage, I'm going to go select this right here. And let's see here. Okay, so I'm going to select these 4 faces right here. I'm going to extrude them just a little bit, just like that. And then I'm going to squeeze them down just a little. And then, yeah, it's an ice toad, CC. It's going to be great. Honestly, it's really just a regular toad model, and I just added icicles to his face to make it look like it's a little icicle beard. It should be cute. Anyway, so I'm grabbing individual vertices now, and I'm just going to adjust this to make this look a little more tubular. Tubular. And now that I have the basic geometry needed for a stock, I'm going to go ahead and extrude. So extrude. And then I'm going to extrude again. So then I'm going to bring it down just a little, rotate, and rotate, extrude, rotate, just like that. Alrighty, just a little more like that. I'm going to go ahead and squeeze it down just a little. Then I'll add that little bump right on top, that little bump, like so. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a little more geometry and make it look a little more refined. Alright, so far so good. Alright, now let me go ahead and squeeze this down just a little. It's actually looking rather large. I'm going to try to squeeze this down, so I'm going to go ahead and select all this geometry right here. And I'm going to squeeze down just a itty bitty bit, just like that. Alright, okay, a little more. Yeah, that's good right there. Okay, so that's the little antennae. Now he's got some little antennae, or slugs. They have little antennae right at the front of their faces. So I'm going to go ahead and prep some geometry for that. I don't want to use too much geometry for something like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a little trick. So I'm going to grab this face right here. And I'm going to subdivide this face. First I'm going to extrude it. Oops. Extrude. And then I'm going to squeeze down just a little bit. So I press E and then I press the S key immediately. Now I'm going to subdivide this face like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and alter the geometry the way that I need it to be altered. It's not pretty, but it'll work. Or as my friends back on the block would say, it will look dope. Anyway, so So go ahead and do that. And then grab these faces right here. And then go ahead and start extruding outward. Actually, I'm looking at a picture of a slug right now, and I kind of messed up. This should be here, because the mouth is right here. So let me just undo that. So Control Z to undo what I just did. This is not a big deal. It literally took me a second to make. Okay, so do that again. This is actually supposed to be here, and then the mouth is supposed to be here. So my bad. Sorry. Sorry. Hope nobody's like I don't know, biologist or something on this stream. I'm not like insulting their knowledge of slugs. Okay. All right. Let me do that again. Subdivide. Okay. Squeeze these down like so. Alright, that's good enough. Okay. And then go ahead and extrude out the little one like that. Alrighty. So the little itty bitty thing at the tip of his mouth is not as big as the one on top of his head. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that like so. Alright, so far so good. You know, I actually think this is sticking out a little far. I'm gonna bring it all in just a little bit. Just going off of a picture of a slug on my phone right now. So let me just bring that in, like that, like that. Okay, that's pretty good. Now let me go ahead and add the little bump that's over here. That's basically his mouth. It's kind of weird. Oh, I got a message here from GWS Show. GW Show? This is fascinating considering I have absolutely no idea how you do what you are doing. Well, if you have any questions, GW Show, you know, just I'm here to help. So I'll be more than happy to explain some things. Anyway, so I'm using the left mouse button to select all of these faces and stuff. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab these two things by pressing Control. And I'm going to, actually, it's kind of like a little, like a mandible that a slug has going on here. And so let me just go ahead and make like a quasi, like soft mandible. Just looks really weird. All right, so grab that, rotate in, and just like that. And I'm gonna go ahead and rotate this like so. And then I'm just gonna grab these right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and do it just like that. So very low poly design, but it'll look fine. There you go. That's a little slug head. Oh, he looks kind of cute. Cute and, you know, kind of gross. Don't put on salt kind of way. Anyway, alright, so I got that going on there. So far, so good. Yeah, it looks like a slug. There you go. Alrighty, so now that I got the basic body of the slug down, I'm going to start working on the details. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and add some more detail to the bottom of his little area down here. So let me just add a little more geometry right there. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and pull some of it out to make it look like it's, you know, more rounded, more organic looking, just like that. And then I go ahead and pull it out just a little bit, just like so. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some more geometry to his overall body. And the reason being is because we're going to rig this guy. We're going to put a little skeleton in him so I can move his body around. This is what animators do to, you know, animate. I didn't have exactly a very sexy explanation. Anyway, yeah, so this is what animators do to animate. And I'm going to use a basic rig to pose this guy just a little bit. But yeah, if anybody has any questions on what I'm doing, my process, favorite movie, whatever, just reach out to me. It's all good. Okay, so let's go ahead and add a little more organic look to this guy. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the sculpt mode. I'm going to use the blob mode. And I'm just going to, just throw a little bit of randomness on his body. Just smooth that out a little. Maybe to make this a little more bumpy right here. I'm just going to go ahead and, throw a little bit of a bump here and there. Bump here. Just like that. Just add some bumps. Just trying to not make it look so, uniform. Just like so. If I want to get really, really aggressive, I can just do the grab key and just grab geometry. Just do it like that if I wanted to. In fact, you know what? I'm just going to do it like that. Just save me a little bit of time. Just like that. There we go. Happy geometry. Alright. Just like that. Okay, that looks pretty good. Alright. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and, well, I'm actually digging this. This is coming out pretty good. Hey, kitty. Hey. Some of my cats just walked by. Alright, let's go ahead, a little more details. I'm going to add a little, just a little more, like, folds under his antennae right here. Actually, I'm looking at the picture of the slug right now. He actually has more little folds and stuff like right here in his little appendage. So I'm gonna just add a little bit there, add a little bit there, and then just scroll out just a little, just to add some folds, add a little bit of interesting geometry to this guy right here. So just like that. Fusto Nut says hi. Well, hi. How's it going? Hope you're doing good. Okay, so far so good. Let me add some more geometry to the front of his face. So let me just go ahead and make this a little more refined. Just like that. Then I'm gonna go ahead and add some geometry right here in the middle of his face. I don't want to add too much geometry right here though, because I don't want to add more to the body than I need to. So I'm actually going to select these, and I'm going to just subdivide them right here. That way, when I create more lines on his face, it doesn't cover his entire body. And actually, it looks like I have to do the entire row. Oopsie doodle. Let me select this entire thing. Hey, other kitty. My second cat's on my leg right now. Hey, how's it going, little guy? You're so cute. Just a good kitty. Anyway, so subdivide. All right, now let me go ahead and add some geometry to the face. Just a little bit of geometry. Then I'm going to go ahead and push that in like so. And push that in like, oh, actually wait, let me grab that. Let me grab that. Alright, it looks a little better. And I don't think his face needs to be this rounded right here, so I'm going to actually push this in just a little bit. Just like that. And I'm going to do the same right here. Just a little happy geometry. There we go. And I'll just add a little divot right here. Just give it a little bit of personality. Alright, so that looks like a slug. Doesn't look too bad. It's pretty simple. Alrighty, now let's go ahead and make this guy a little more dynamic. So, we're done with the mirroring tool. So let me go ahead and press apply. Boop. And then when I do apply, now the whole thing is one piece, as you can see. So let me go ahead and mess with this geometry just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and select the faces for his mouth right here. And I'm going to bring it down just a little bit and extrude just a little bit, just like that. Just to make it look a little different, like he's kind of chewing on something or something. I don't know. I read the book, and apparently this bad guy is not really that much of a bad guy. Apparently, if you're threatening enough, he won't try to fight you in the game. So there you go. Anyway, so just like that. Okay, cool. And then I guess I'll add a little bit of. alter some of the geometry here. So here's a neat little tool before we get into the whole rigging stuff that I could show you guys. If you don't want to rig something and you just want to move an appendage, select all the geometry, like so. Oops, like that. Alrighty. Okay. And then go ahead over here to this area and select active elements. And then it's going to rotate based off of where you put the active element on. So if I were to put this here, then it would rotate off of that. So it's kind of a neat little thing to do if you wanted to just save some time and not deal with rigging. Anyway, so I'm just going to move that a little bit like that. I'm going to move this one over here. Oh, I got a message from GW Show. He says, did you go to school to learn much of what you're doing, or are you more self-taught? Many of your recent models are much more elaborate compared to some of your earlier models. Would you contribute that all their skills and models you created since you first started? Yeah, so basically my deal is that I did learn how to 3D model in college about 10 years ago, and I kind of let it go. And then, like a couple of years ago, I just retaught myself everything. And I did it for the sake of a hobby, just so I could do D&D models and have fun. And yeah, I've been pretty much relearning as I, created more and more models. So things are just getting more and more elaborate as I get more practice. So yeah, it's kind of a combination, a little bit of both, really. A little bit of self-taught, a little bit of, freaking what I learned from college. In college, though, I used Maya, which is completely different from Blender in a lot of ways, but also kind of similar in some ways, which is why I was able to catch on to it. Hope that answers your question. Anyway, so I'm going to move this guy's thing right here. Alright, take that. Like that. Just give it a little bit of variance, Alright. Not exactly like the other one, but not too different either, Actually, I kind of like the idea of it being angled like that. All right, and then this one I think it's gonna be pointed down just a little bit. Okay. All right, so that's enough of that. Now I'm gonna go ahead and make a rig. So first things first, I want to make sure that let me go into object mode. I want to first recenter this this origin right here. So I'm going to go ahead and press Shift C, and that puts the origin back in the middle of the 3D board. So that's where the origin is right there. And that's important because I'm going to create a skeleton, and it's going to be based off of that first, right? So I want to be right in the middle. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a skeleton. So go to Create, and then you go to Armature, and then it will create an armature right there in the middle of the body. I'm going to go into X-ray mode because it'll be easier to see. So first things first, just so you guys know how armatures work. If you go to Edit mode, and if you extrude, press the E key, and then just move the thing. That's how you create armatures. Is you press E key, you extrude, and just use your directional thing, and that's how you make it. And then when you go into edit mode, you go into pose mode. If you select the bottom armature, the one that has the fat part at the end, that's gonna move everything that's ahead of it, see? So then you select the other one, and then see how that works? So we're gonna make one of these and just like fill up the entire body. Anyway. And then also, if you wanted to, like, rig a body or something like that, like if you wanted to make like a skeleton for a humanoid, you would go to the bottom here. You would, oh, sorry, let me go to edit mode. So E, and then you just move that thing out like that. And then this armature will not be affected by completely by what happens over here, because it has its own control, see? So do that, then go into pose mode, So this main one over here is going to control what's going on there, but this one has its own controls, and it's going to go right there. So that's just the basics right there. Anyway, let's go ahead and make the actual skeleton for the snail. I'm still going to use this thing that I created because, I don't know, why not? So let's go ahead and rotate this thing 90 degrees, or I guess negative 90 degrees. And I'm going to go ahead and just, keep altering and keep creating more. I'm going to put something here. So I'm going to make an armature for the head and for the neck, and then I'm going to keep making an armature for the body. And let me just, because I'm paranoid, let me just make sure that I'm right in the middle. It looks like the body's actually not in the middle. Huh, that's unfortunate. Guess I'm just kind of eyeballing it. That's fine. Press the A key to deselect. Anyway, so let's go ahead and continue making this little skeleton. So go to edit mode and select this guy right here. Press the E key to extrude, and then just move it as I do. E key to extrude, and then move it right there. And I think one more should do it. E key to extrude, and just like that. That should be enough. I could get elaborate and make like a whole thing for the antennae, but it's not really necessary. It's such a simple model. Anyway, let's continue making the skeleton for this little guy. So E to extrude, just like that. E to extrude, then like that. E to extrude, just like that. I'm going to angle it down just a little because I'm starting to run out of space. E to extrude, just like that. Takusa to kettle. What an interesting name. Obviously Incan or Aztec based. I'm pretty sure it's based off of actual Mayan or Central American mythology. Alright, I think that's a very basic skeleton. I think that's all we really need for what we're trying to do. So now that I got that done, I'm going to go into object mode, and let me just make sure this model has enough geometry. Yeah, I think it's got enough geometry. Alright, so let's go ahead and make this thing, capable of being animated. So first what you do is you select the model, then shift, select the armature, and then you go ahead and press Control P, and then right over here, ta-da, with automatic weights. So you just press with automatic weights, and this model is now affected by whatever happens to the armature. So I'm going to go ahead and select the armature again, and I'm going to go to pose mode, and then you'll see that as I move this thing's geometry, or excuse me, as I move the armature controls, the geometry gets altered. Ta-da! Pretty cool, eh? So I'm just going to go ahead and pose this guy a little bit. Just nothing too crazy. I think there's a way to make the armatures like be able to see right through the body, but I don't remember how to do that part. Sorry. So let me just go ahead and do that. I'm pressing the R key right now, and I'm just doing it with the R key. Alrighty, so he's looking over there, and then let me go ahead and mess with the body just a little bit. I'm thinking maybe like kind of like an S format, so he's going to be like a little bit of here and a little bit there, something like that. Not too crazy. So let's go ahead and start altering the body. So just like that. Just like that. And just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and start moving him back. So yeah, that's how you do basic modeling rigging. For the sake of rigging, of course. Alrighty. And then let me go ahead and add just a little bit of curvature right here. Alright, let's see how this looks. I dig it. I like it. That looks great. I'm going to add a little more dynamic a little more of a dynamic pose. I'm just gonna go ahead and just basically make it a little more crunched down. I'm just gonna do that. All right. Get a little crazy. Get a little crazy. Crazy. Just crazy. Do, 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 do. Oop, sorry. All right, that looks a little better. I dig it. Yeah, I like it. That's good. That's a snail. I mean, a slug. I mean, I could put a shell, make it a snail. Anyway, all right. So that's basic rigging. It's nothing too complicated. It just is what it is. All right, I'm satisfied. Let's go ahead and get this thing ready for printing. So first things first, let me go ahead and save this thing. So save as Tezakuto posed and rigged. Okay. And I probably should have saved it before without its pose, but it's fine. It's not a big deal. Anyway, actually, tell you what, for my animators out there, I'm gonna undo all of this and then save it as Tezakoto rigged, just so if anybody needed a slug model. So I'm just gonna undo this real fast. I'm already saved it, so it's gonna be fine. So let me just undo that real fast. And then I'm gonna upload this on my my Patreon storage folder. That way, if you guys need it. Anyway, save as Tezakoto, and I'm just gonna save it as Tezakoto rigged. Okay. Now let me go ahead and I'll save it as Tezakoto as well. Just fuck it, why not? Oh, I'm sorry, language. All right, and open recent. Okay. Anyway, where were we? So I just made a GIF for whoever needs an animated slug. Okay, so he's done. Now let me just go ahead and freeze him as is. So go over here, and I'm gonna press apply to the armature, like so. And then I can get rid of the armature. So what I do is I did apply, and then I go ahead and press Control P, and then it's gonna parent the object to itself. Thus, it keeps the transformed look. And then I could just get rid of the skeleton. I don't really need it now. You know, you had your moment, skeleton. Now it's over. Goodbye. Anyway, so this guy's obviously a little too big for a large creature, so I'm gonna have to shrink him down just a little bit. So let me shrink him down like so. Let me go ahead and bring this large creature marker that's also in my files on the shared drive for my Patreon, my patrons. So I'll go right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring the sucker down right there. That should be good. It's still a little big. I could probably bring it down just a little. Maybe just a little bit. Nah, it's fine. I don't know what I'm doing. All right, let me go in here, make sure this is good, because we're prepping this thing for 3D printing, so we need to make sure that it's fully engulfed inside its little little marker. And it looks like it is, so that's pretty good. All right, so let's go ahead and put that there. And, all right, we got ourselves a slug. I'm a slug, baby. No shell here. Anyway, okay. I might add some more geometry to this thing later, but for now, this is good. It's a slug. It's a slug. Alrighty. I'm gonna see how it looks like rendered, just to see how it looks. So I'm gonna go over here, go to materials, and then go to rendered. Oh, he's cute. If you have lights already set up, this is why it looks like this. But lighting is its own tutorial. Like, I wouldn't know how to really teach that. I'm trying to get that money shot. That looks pretty good. I like it. Anyway, let me go ahead and just save an image for Twitter later, like that. File, save as, capture. Anyway, all right, sorry. Let me get back to the model. Okay, so go ahead and I'm going to extrude this as an STL file. Alrighty, so I'll go ahead and I guess I'll just call him just Takuza Takedo. What a wonderful phrase. Takuza Takedo, ain't no happy phrase. I don't mean to sing, sorry. Alright, anyway, so now I exported him, so let's go ahead and let me show you how to set up his body for printing. So you're going to open your printing program. I use this version of Cura. There are newer versions out there, by the way, so you definitely want to experiment with them. But this is the old version. This does the job. It's fine. Anyway, quick access. Let me just get to my that folder that I was just at. All right, Tales from the Yawning Portal. There you are. Takuza Takedo. What a wonderful slug. Takuza Takedo. He's prettier than a pug. Anyway. Alright, so let me just go over the basic settings for 3D printing this guy. First, you're going to want to make sure that you have supports on and make sure they are everywhere. Your overhang, you're going to want it to be 30 degrees. You're going to want it to be a fill of 15, so that's fine. You want a raft for your adhesion. Your layer height, it's up to you, but 0.05 is a good layer height for, you know, a really high quality print. You can go to 0.1, which is an okay print. Shelf thickness at 0.08. Bottom layer is right there, 0.6. The fill density, 25%, is pretty thick. You don't really need it for a large creature like this, though, so I'm going to actually bring it to a 10. Saves me on materials, and, you know, it's fine. Honestly, I think that this looks a little blocky still. I think I'm going to add some more geometry. So let me go back over here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the views of the subdivision by 2. And then you can see he just got way smoother. So that looks a lot sexier. So let me go ahead and just save that real fast, and then export. Oops, I shouldn't have saved that. Whatever, it's fine. I saved the other one as a freaking thing. Anyway, so I saved the rigged version in another version, so it should be fine. All right, so go ahead and press reload, and then yeah, that's much smoother. I like it. Okay, so now where was I? Okay, so fill density of a 10, print speed 30. The slower the print, the better the quality the prints will be, because if the print is slowed down, that gives the plastic more time to cool and gives the fan more time to cool it, thus making it look more high quality. So 220 is my temperature. That depends on the material you use, obviously, so don't go off of that. Bed speed, bed temperature 70 degrees. Okay, that's the generic stuff. All right, so let's see what this looks like in the printing mode. Okay, so yeah, that's exactly what I was expecting. Pretty basic model. I like it though. I wish I could add more personality to a slug. Anyway, so if you scroll right here on the side, it'll tell you what it looks like as a 3D print. And yeah, looks like it's pretty solid. It also looks like it doesn't need supports for this area, so that's kind of interesting. All right, so there you go. Anyway, if you wanted to add more supports to this thing, all you got to do is just go over here, go to the angle, and like just increase the angle to like a lot, to like a very low number. So like 15 degrees is like supports are going to be basically everywhere. See, supports are now under the head or under the antennae. Anyway, not on that one though. That's kind of weird. Well, whatever. I guess the machine is confident that it can print it. Anyway, so that's basically it. That's how you set up a 3D print for this thing. For resin printers, you know, the program really depends on what came with your computer, with your printer. But the rules are still the same. You're going to want either a brim or a raft at the bottom. The supports you're going to want to make sure you cover areas that have a lot of overhang. There's not a lot in this model, so it should be a very easy print. And that's that. That is the tutorial. Basic modeling, a little bit of rigging, and how to set it up for printing. Okay, that was probably my shortest tutorial ever. I mean, it is a slug, so it's not exactly that complicated. All right, so I'm gonna stay online for another 5 minutes. If you guys have any questions, I'm right now looking at the chat screen. So if you want to send me a question, you can go right ahead, and I'll do my best to answer them. And yeah, just go ahead and send them away. I'm just gonna mess with this model a little more, maybe add a little more details, things like that. So if you guys got any questions, feel free to share away. I'm gonna add some fulls to this guy. So yeah, I'll post this thing on my Patreon shared account. In case you guys didn't know, I'm now sharing a Google Drive with access to all of my files for my patrons. So makes life a little easier because I know it's really hard to find my files on Thingiverse and Shapeways, and it's just I know it's really hard. So I thought I could do that to help people out, you know. So there you go. But they are still the same files I've been sharing all this time, so nothing changes on the rules. You know, it's just the basic stuff. And yeah, it's just fan art. Fan art for the greatest role-playing game of all time. Period. Any questions? Any questions at all? Send them my way, and I will do my best to answer them. And if there's no questions, then you know, whatever. I just enjoy being here with you guys, because you guys are cool. And I hope I'm cool too. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I like that. It doesn't look like I'm getting any questions, so I guess I'll be ending this soon, which is fine. If there's no questions, that means I guess I did a good job explaining everything. What the dun? Mr. Doom, do 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 do. Oh, I got a question from Jugzata. Do you have any previous videos available? Yes, I do. My tutorials are all on YouTube. Look up MZ4250, and that's my channel. And you know, that's where I post all my other tutorials. My first one's the longest one, and I just go over like everything on how to freaking 3D model, and I just go all out. So that's a very long one. This is a shorter one, but I hope I covered all the stuff that is needed. But yeah, YouTube, look up MZ4250. My channel is it's a sad little channel. It's got like, I don't know, 7 videos, and I think I have like a couple hundred followers. It's like, I'm the most casual YouTuber ever. I don't do this for a living. I don't do this for freaking anything. I just do it for fun. So, oh, dope. Thanks. Hey, no problem. Do you always use Blender? No ZBrush or anything? I don't have ZBrush because I don't got money. It's that's expensive. It's like $1,000 to get freaking ZBrush now. So no, I don't have ZBrush. Sorry. I think there's a free version. I think there's like a version that they made that's like not as good but gets the job done. I need to really look into that. Especially because Mordenkaiden's Foes is now available, and I want to really like go all out for those files. So I'm definitely gonna have to look into ZBrush or something like an alternate for ZBrush and go from there. So yeah, I know of ZBrush. I used it a long time ago when I was in college, and yeah, I will definitely tap into that again soon, I guess, or anything that's like a alternate free version of it, you know. So we'll see. That's awesome. Been trying to get into Blender. Yeah, Blender requires a lot of just practice and just a lot of diligence and just freaking sticking to the basic tool tricks and trips of mastering it. It really comes down to just practice and just sheer force, So don't give up. It's not an impossible thing to learn. Anyway, so yeah, good luck. This looks a lot better. I think this actually looks more organic now with little folds. All right, I'm gonna save this. File, save, and then export STL. What's up? Somebody else says, I'll subscribe to your YouTube for sure. Thanks for chatting and thanks for all the free STL files. Hey, I do what I do. I'm also on Patreon if you want to support my efforts there too and all that stuff. All right, I think we're done. Unless anybody has any more questions, I'm going to be on for like another couple of minutes. Then I'm going to call it a night. Get back to playing Nier Automata. It's a good game. Anyway, but yeah, if anybody has any questions, feel free to send them my way right now, and I'll do my best to answer them. Okay. Alrighty. Thank you. I appreciate that. You're stellar. You say my work is stellar. Well, you're stellar because you're awesome. Alrighty. Yeah, this came out pretty good. I'm pretty satisfied. Yeah, I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay. All right. I think that's it. I think we're done. All right. I'm not seeing any more questions, so I think we'll just call it a night right here. So let me just do another render. Yeah. Alrighty. File, new snip. Alrighty, I think that's enough of that. Okay, guys, thanks for tuning on. I'm gonna go ahead and post this video on YouTube, and then I'm gonna go ahead and post the file on online on Shapeways, I guess, or I guess Thingiverse. I'll do that too, since it's just a slug. I mean, it really doesn't matter. But yeah, just check out my files on Shapeways under MZ4250. Check out my files on Thingiverse, also MZ4250. I'm on Patreon if you want to support my efforts. Send a little love. And I think that's that. Reddit, I'm also MZ4250, and we should be good. All right, guys, this was fun. I'm going to go ahead and upload all this stuff, and I will see you around. Thank you very much for stopping by, and yeah, have an awesome weekend.